Hi everyone, this is Counseling 4000, Chapter 24, Monitoring the Services or Treatment. Monitoring cases and their caseload and the referral agencies to which their clients have been sent. So you're responsible for the actual paperwork for the general case for your client, but then you also need to also monitor the provider agencies as well. To get reimbursement, which basically means you need to get paid, right? Or your company needs to get paid so that you can get a paycheck. Careful monitoring, the individual is more likely to receive the services you are requesting because if you let people not do something, they kind of slide sometimes, and you want to make sure that they know that, oh, hey, that case manager is on top of, their cases, and so we better also be as well if we want to get paid as well. Careful monitoring, the individual is more likely to receive the services you are requesting, as I just said. Regular contact with your client gives the person a certain amount of reassurance and support. When you check in, really briefly, don't accuse them of anything or whatever. Just say, hey, how's everything going? So that, they know that, hey, my case manager actually cares for me and wants to know that I am doing better, right? When done on a regular basis, monitoring allows you to spot and address problems early and prevent crises. So if there's anything going on, you can sort of maybe hear it in their voice or the way that they present themselves. And then you can say, hey, what's going on? Or you might want to call the provider agencies and check up and make sure everything is okay. Sometimes, when you refer someone to a case provider agency, um, they might not necessarily get along with that provider agency. And so you want to know because if it's not working, then you want to find a better place so that you can continue with their success. Making sure that there is movement towards the desired goal is obviously your number one concern right now, right? And then mid-course corrections, again, means checking in the middle. Encourage a person to participate in revising the plan. Maybe they need to have more time to process the information or maybe less time because they actually get it, they're motivated, and they're actually doing everything on time. Then maybe we can speed things up. What is monitoring? So there's two ways. One is an ongoing review of the people's participation in the services to which they were referred, and two, an ongoing review of the services being provided and the service provider's activities with regard to the clients referred to them. So that means, again, talking to the person who is their client, but then also talking about the service providers as well. Reviews are carried out by talking to the clients regularly to see if they feel they are making progress and to make changes if needed. So what is done in the response to the situation? Contacting people in the agency that are helping your clients reach their goals. Should services be continued or discontinued? Modifications to the plan? What's going to happen? Third is contacting other people, agencies, and services involved with the client, such as parents, teachers, or anyone who can give progress or observations to your client as well. So from a different point of view, not necessarily the provider's point of view or the professional, but someone at home or at school. Follow up. Two reasons you want to follow up. Want to be sure that the changes of the new services with the client are actually working. And then two, want to be sure that the client is doing well since the last contact when changes were made. So again, you want to say, hey, just checking in to make sure everything is going the way it is, like we talked about. Let me know if there's any issues or anything like that or concerns so that we can address it so that you can really focus on achieving the goals that you want to achieve. Case manager goes back to check on things after contact with the client. Follow-ups are particularly important after a crisis. See if new medications are working, a home visit after a suicide attempt, a visit to the hospital after being placed there are really important things because it shows that you care about your clients. Follow-up occur when the situation was unstable, in the first place, and then make sure the changes are working and not destabilizing. So if we do have changes, it's not actually making things worse. We want to make sure if it is, we want to stop that immediately as soon as possible, and then of course change gears again. Advocating. When things do not seem to go as they should, there are several things that you can do. You want to advocate for your client, right? Number one, ask open-ended questions about how things are going for the agency and your client. Tell me about Jim's time so far with the agency. Describe some of the things you and Jim have worked on so far. Are ways that you can ask open-ended questions to the service provider. Two, express an I message, such as, I think I am most concerned that the goals we sent over and your goals don't look the same. Can you walk me through how the goals are changed or so I can understand where we are with Jim right now? 3 is if agency is unwilling to change parts of the treatment, discuss the need for changing providers. So something like, I think what we have decided to do at this point is transfer Jim to Oak Creek Rehab Center. I think for us, this would be a better fit for Jim until some of these issues are resolved. See how we can sort of say you're doing a bad job, but not really saying, hey, you're doing a bad job. We're going to say, you know what? We're going to move him over to this place so that he can, let's say, hopefully try and reach those goals that were the original plans. Responding to a crisis, respond immediately. That's something that happens when the crisis is. If there's an emergency, you got to respond to it immediately or as soon as possible. The faster you respond, the more likely you can stop the crisis from escalating. If you are seen as a calming person, it will be helpful for your client. So one of the practice things that you need to do in your life is whenever there's a major event happening, how are you calm? Can you calm yourself down so you can think rationally? Okay? Because if you're running around like a chicken with no head, your client's doing the same thing, it's going to show a lot of panic and fear, and then there's going to be chaos, which means craziness, and then nothing is really going to be resolved. Construct the best course of action under the present circumstances. So you want to consult your client, but be ready to act. Hospitalization may be necessary for your client. Listen to the person. Let the people talk to you about the event and put things in perspective. So ask them, hey, what's going on? Tell me, explain it, so that they're able to also express it out as well. And you can ask questions to de-escalate, calm them down, right? Because before that, they might be just screaming and yelling. But now that you show them that you are listening, you're paying attention to them, they're going to go, here, let me tell you what's going on from my point of view. And then you can empathize, and then that will also hopefully de-escalate the situation as well. Help the person to begin to look ahead. So you want to say something like, well, where do you want to go from here? And then they might, let's say, well, I want to change agencies, or I want to go outside right now and take a walk for an hour, or whatever it is. And then brainstorm possibilities and look into all the options that are possible for your client so that there is no more crisis or will prevent other future crises.